At Gojek, we actually have an integrated design process that we try and follow. The owners of that is the design ops team that we have. And they have come up with the process, of course, taking enough inputs from every team. They have come up with the flexible enough, but like thorough process of following the design. And we try and follow that process throughout all the teams. Now, what that process means is at a very basic level, it's of course focused on like trying to understand the problem from the root cause perspective, having enough research or other data which tells us that yes, this is a real problem that we're trying to solve in the first place. Then trying to set this up at each stage, trying to cater to different things while we try and solve for that. Let's say, for example, what we are trying to solve for, at how many levels, what are the dependencies, what is the scale of that, how many different approaches could be there. And then at a certain point, of course, like communicating with the peers and stakeholders saying that, okay, these are the many approaches. Now we have to pick one approach. How do we prioritize? How do we make the selection? And at that point, we decide and then say, okay, this is the approach that we're going to take. Let's execute this. So the final designs come out. We have few more rounds of testing if we need, like if we have a design that we want to test it out with the audience, we do that as well. And once everything is clear, then we move to the engineering and say that, yes, this is the final design that we want to move ahead with. So you can build it up. And once the engineering does that, we have further rounds of testing as well to make sure that whatever we designed is being followed. And then the end result is something that we roll out to our customers. We keep a close eye on how it's performing. So it's not just lost after delivery. So we keep a close track of what we're learning back from what we have just designed and delivered, and then deciding, going back to the drawing boards and saying that, hey, should we do something more, or is this enough? Or let's say the response from our customers has been such, so should we make further improvements there as well? So this is the overall process, but at each stage we have different stakeholders involved. Let's say, for example, at the early stage, we have the business people or product people who are our collaborators and stakeholders with whom we brainstorm about, like, what is the problem? Tell us more about it. The problem can come from anywhere. Um, it could be an engineering problem. It could be a design problem. It could be a business need. It could be just a product feature that we want to do because we want to be even in the market, or it could be just related to some new regulation that popped up because the situation is such, and we have to make some changes in the business. Now, once we have that problem, we spend enough time with these stakeholders to understand, okay, why is this problem important? And what should we do to prioritize this or not prioritize this? And once we have that, at least we have the priority saying that, okay, this is something that we should plan for the next 6 months or not. Then we go about to understand, okay, now we understand that this problem needs to be solved, but do we have enough understanding of that problem in the first place? Like, do we have enough data to back that up saying that, yes, it's a valid problem, or it's not just a mere assumption that we have? Because till that point, it's just a hypothesis. It's just somebody's hypothesis saying that unless it's a like a prerogative or a directive that we have to follow, it's always a hypothesis saying that, yes, this might actually do something. So defining that part is important. So we look at data, we look at historical data. If we don't have that, we do research because it's something new. So we, of course, do foundational research. We try and understand that, is there something new to understand in that field? And once we have enough idea about this is the problem, or this is how the problem looks like, it is then when we start designing. It is then when we start involving other stakeholders. Like we work closely with the research team, trying to incorporate their insights. We work with the data team, where they give us constant inputs about like how we can shape things up. We work with the UX writing team or the interaction design team as well, who help us get the final design out in terms of what the interactions are going to be like, what the copy and content is going to be like. We most of the times we create prototypes out of this, which we test it out with real customers to get some idea about, hey, this looks good and this might work well. there are no red flags in there. So even before we go into development, we make sure that the prototype is vetted, and anybody can raise a concern saying that, yes, this is something that we should test out. That can come from the product, research, anywhere, and anybody can actually get that validation done early on during the design phase before we even take a step and then fail later. So we are trying to make sure that each step we are checklisting certain things. So in an order of that fashion, the whole design delivery process is just a long list of checklists saying we got this done, we got this done, we got this done. And by the end of the checklist, it's just what we do is minimize the risk of something failing very, very strongly or really hard. So what we're delivering to the engineering team is making sure that, hey, we have the guarantee that this design will work. We have done enough brainstorming, we have looked at enough data, even we have tested it out at our level to say this design should work. Now it is up to you to deliver the right design. So yeah, I think that is how the whole process follows.